Hello friends, how are you all? Welcome to our channel Samvedana. Today in this class we can learn about the asexual reproduction in fungi. Coming to the introduction part, generally fungi will reproduce both sexually and asexually. But in case of fungi imperfect type, that is mitosporic fungi, only asexual reproduction is the way to process. Beyond these two reproduction, another reproduction, that is parasexuality, that was reported in fungi imperfecti by Panticarvo and Roper. But today's class we will discuss about the only asexual reproduction. In next coming video I will explain about the sexual reproduction. Coming to the asexual reproduction includes somatic reproduction also, because somatic reproduction is nothing but a vegetative reproduction. Means in somatic reproduction what will happen? Here new individual develops from unspecialized detached portion of the thallus. Thallus is nothing but vegetative body of the fungus. In that thallus itself, the cells will not be specialized. Like in other, like asexual reproduction, what will happen? In somatic reproduction, there will be no specialization, but in asexual reproduction, new individuals arise from a specialized reproductive bodies. That specialized reproductive bodies will be produced by the thallus without involving any nuclear fusions. Means in asexual reproduction, there will be no nuclear fusions. But there is no biological difference between the somatic and asexual reproduction. Only difference is in somatic reproduction there is no specialized cells formed from the thallus, whereas in asexual reproduction there will be a formation of specialized reproductive bodies. Coming to the methods of asexual reproduction, fungi exhibit the following four types of asexual reproduction, that is fragmentation, budding, fission and spores. Coming to each type, let us discuss about each one separately. First one is the fragmentation. Fragmentation means here what will happen, detached fragment of the hyphae under suitable conditions, it gives rise to a new individual. This fragmentation occurs frequently in nature and it is the most common method used for cultivation of fungi in our laboratory conditions. Coming to the second type of asexual reproduction, that is the budding. Budding is the common in yeast fungi, and in budding what will happen, here I will show a soft zone appears on cell wall. Here you can see a soft zone appears on the cell wall. This soft zone bulges out and it constricts itself from the mother thallus, and later it forms a daughter cell. And this type of budding may also occur in the spores also. Coming to the third type of asexual reproduction, that is fission. Generally, seeing the picture, what we will think is fission is a type of reproduction generally occurs in the bacteria, but this fission also occurs in some fungi, especially fission yeast. For example, if you will take the Schizosaccharomyces, this fission will occur. In fission, what will happen? Cell divides in transverse plane. Here you can see, if it is a cell, it will divide here in transverse plane into two cells. Then these two cells will separate by formation of here some constriction. Then it will give rise to the new cell, and this fission happens continuously in this Schizosaccharomyces. Coming to the fourth type of asexual reproduction, that is happens through the spores. This is the most common method of asexual reproduction in fungi. And what is the spore? Spore is nothing but any small propagative, reproductive or survival unit. Because why we are saying a survival unit means generally it will survive under unfavorable conditions to produce a thallus after coming to the favorable situations. So this is a survival unit which separates from hypha, that is separates from the thallus, or the sporogenous cell, and it gives rise to a new individual. And spores are characterized by some specialized characters, like not in thallus it is characterized by some special characters, and spore is characterized by some special characters. So what are those special characters in the spores? Because in spores there is a cessation of cytoplasmic movement. Means cytoplasmic movement will stop. There is no continuity in the cytoplasmic movement like what happens in the thallus, because in thallus there should be a cytoplasmic movement for the growth of thallus from one cell to another cell, but in spore it is not like that. And the small water content, because water content is also very less in the spore itself, indicating like some hard like structures to survive under unfavorable conditions. And there is a slow metabolism in the spore because it has to use whatever less reserved food material it has to utilize under unfavorable conditions. So that's why it shows a very slow metabolism and lack of vacuoles. So there is no vacuoles in the spores, but whereas in thallus we can find the vacuoles. And the spores, actually coming to when we'll think about the spores, that spores maybe they produced sexually and asexually. Sexually the spores produced in zygospore, like zygospores, ascospores and basidiospores, where they produce zygomycotina, ascomycotina and basidiomycotina. Asexually produced spores we can call as mitospores, but sexually produced spores what we call as meiospores. Here we have to remember the important point that in for JRF exams also we can remember that sexually produced spores we can observe in zygospores, ascospores and basidiospores. It is one type of example here we can find. Then coming, let us go into very detail. And whereas conidia formed externally on hyphae are more commonly on morphologically differentiated conidiophores. Here conidia also we can see in the next slides. These sporangiospores and conidia both sometimes they are branched, and that branching pattern of these sporangiophores will be very helpful in the taxonomic criteria, especially in case of downy mildew fungi. We can classify the fungi based on the branching pattern of the sporangiophores. So there it will be very highly useful. Coming to the sporangiospores. Sporangiospores are two types again. They may be motile or non-motile. Motile means they should have some tail-like structures to move within the water. Non-motile means they do not have any specialized structure to move. Motile sporangiospores are generally called zoospores. So this is also very important point here. Motile spore, what we call as a motile sporangiospores, like they are called zoospores and are with one or two flagella. Here important point is zoospores having one or two flagella, and non-motile sporangiospores called aplanospores, which are lacking the flagella. And coming to zoospores, let us understand zoospores about how many types of flagella are there. And zoospores generally initially they are naked, they don't have any cell wall, but after a particular swarming period, zoospores what they will do, they will encyst themselves, that is they secrete a wall and they germinate to give rise to a germ tube. That germ tube develops into the thallus. And feature of flagella which is found in the eukaryotic organisms. Here these two central fibrils, these are connected to the blepharoplast, that is the flagella originate from that blepharoplast structure which is directly connected to the nucleus. And in whiplash flagellum, two central fibrils extend beyond the 9 peripheral fibrils and give rise to a thin apical piece. This is the one of the special character in whiplash flagellum. Coming to the types of zoospores, here we can divide the zoospores based on flagella. There are mainly four types of zoospores. We can divide them based on flagella. First one is the uniflagellate zoospore. It name itself indicating that uni means a single flagella with a posterior whiplash flagellum. Whiplash flagellum here it is. And another is uniflagellate with anterior tinsel type flagellum. Tinsel type, already I told that tinsel type flagellum means it is having the hair on the entire structure. And third one is biflagellate zoospore, two anterior whiplash flagellum. And fourth one is biflagellate zoospore with each one type of flagellum, that is one is tinsel and one is whiplash and one is tinsel. They are present either anteriorly or they are present laterally. These are the four types of zoospores which we can recognize based on the type of flagellum. That is already I told. Exogenous arthrospores means they separate by splitting of the transverse septum. And coming to the endogenous arthrospores, let us see how these endogenous arthrospores form. Here first of all what will happen, transverse septa will form, and now neighboring or alternate cells develop a thin wall. Means here some transverse septa will form, and the alternate cells, each cells will develop a thin cell wall. And what intermediate cells, they will lose their contents. Means this tightness what present in the thallus, it will lose. So these cells lose their contents and thin lateral walls break. These lateral walls break to free these arthrospores. However, a small piece of hyphal remnants, they will attach to the these endogenous arthrospores. Here you can see small pieces of hyphal remnants, they remain attached to both ends of the arthrospores. Here you can see these are the remnants of the thallus. These are the two types of arthrospores, that is exogenous and endogenous arthrospores. Separate. Cytoplasm becomes dense with enough reserve food for consumption during unfavorable environment. I already told you that spores especially, they survive during the unfavorable conditions, because here they will reserve some food material also, and they slow down the metabolic rate so that they can survive under unfavorable environment, and they can wait and germinate under suitable environmental conditions. And they are resistant to lysis chemicals produced by other soil organisms, because resistant spores generally they have to survive in the soil until the next favorable season. During that survival, they are subjected to so many obstacles, like some soil microorganisms are there, they will produce some chemicals, but it has to survive to those chemicals produced by those organisms. So they are resistant spores. But whereas under that conditions, like conidia and hyphae, they are quickly lysed, but these conidiospores, they remain resistant to those chemicals. Here you can see this is the free conidiophore, or they may aggregate together. Means here lot of conidiophore, they will aggregate and they form specialized structure. So here we can say they may be free or aggregate to form a compound sporophores called cinnamata or sporodokia, which I will explain in the next coming classes. Large number of fungi, conidiophores born inside a structure, that inside one structure is known as acervuli, or flask shaped or globular structure, that is having pycnidia. That is globular structure having the pycnidia, that pycnidia opened by a structure called ostiole. These are the different type of spores. So friends, up to now I explained about the asexual reproduction in fungi. Just let us rewind once again. There are four types of asexual reproduction, that is fragmentation, budding, fission and spores. Budding happen in the common yeast, and fission happen in the Cytosaccharomyces, and spores, coming to the spores, there are two types, sporangia spores and conidia, and sporangia spores are juice spores, and conidia are produced on the conidiophore. This is all about the asexual reproduction, and thank you for your keen interest in this video, and remember to like and subscribe for more videos. As I already told you, in the next coming video I will explain about the sexual reproduction in fungi. I wish you a great success, health, prosperity and happiness. Thank you one and all.